Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, and we got to talk about, boy, oh boy, do we need to talk about Chapter 9, Betrayer Revealed. All right, the player characters have gone to Ravenloft, Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, they've gone to Spelljammer, they have gone to Avernus, right? They have gone to all these places in order, they've gone to Kryn, right? They've gone to all these places, and they've gotten all 7 pieces of Rod of 7 parts, all right? Now, first of all, anybody who gets this far in a tier 10, in a level 10, level 10 to level 20 Dungeons and Dragons adventure, they're going to be very smart, right? There's no way they're going to turn the Rod of 7 pieces over to Mordenkainen. No way. No way. I would never do it. As a Dragon Master, I would never do it. I would never have my player character give something that I spent literally 6 weeks to 6 months questing to get to some, bog standard Dungeon Master character. Yeah, and Mordenkainen, bog standard Dungeon Master. He's on a Magic the Gathering card, right? Like, I know he's like famous, but like at this point I'm level 19. Right? I ain't giving it up, right? Like, and I don't think any player would, right? So what does this mean? So first of all, here's what you're gonna do. This is important, right? Mordenkainen is Mordenkainen, and the Rod of 7 parts is absolutely fundamentally important to the defeat of Vecna. You have to change that as a Dungeon Master. You cannot do rules as written here. You cannot, right? Because it's not gonna work. It's not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well. It's gonna end terribly, right? And you cannot run this straight. You cannot run it as written, right? You simply have to, as the Dungeon Master, Mordenkainen is Mordenkainen, and the Rod of 7 parts is absolutely critical, right? To completing the defeat of Vecna. Now, why would you do this? Well, there's some very good reasons. In my humble opinion, there's one very good reason. I think Amanda Heyman wrote it this way on purpose. Okay, and the reason why is it's brilliant, right? If you turn this one dial on this D&D canon hardback, you can catch metagamers, and you could make them look like fools at the table. And actually, you won't have to do the work; they will do the work, right? So basically, if you make this one change and you make it immediately in Chapter 1, right, that Mordenkainen is Mordenkainen, and the Rod of 7, and every word that Mordenkainen says, that the Rod of 7 parts is critical to Vecna's defeat. Then at that point, anybody who read the D&D canon hardback, who's a Dragon player or just got spoiled at some point, all that metagame information is useless, right? And makes them look silly at the table, right? And you could simply just run it straight. Mordenkainen is Mordenkainen, and the Rod of 7 parts is really important, right? And then these metagamers then bang their head against the wall trying to prove something that's not real. Mordenkainen is Mordenkainen, and the Rod of 7 parts literally is important. Now, the great part about this is, now why would Amanda Heyman have done this? Well, this has been a problem from the gate, right? Like, that people, every single D&D canon hardback that's ever been written, you will find literally hundreds of videos saying, and they already exist. These videos already exist for Vecna Even Room. They're like, here's how to fix it. No, that's not correct. It's not how to fix it, right? What you're really doing is there is no D&D homebrew. When you run D&D, you're expected to change D&D. Running Dungeons and Dragons rules as written is only done by fools. Running Dungeons and Dragons, there is expected change. Page 4 of the Dungeon Master Guide says the rules aren't in charge. You are in charge. If you run rules as written 100%, you're not even running Dungeons and Dragons. You have to change something. And so Amanda put this perfect thing in here where she's like, you're just, I wrote it this way, and your metagamers are going to run against it like that way, but here's how you have them slam into a wall and break their own nose without you having to do the work. Let them do the work of breaking their own nose, right? Let them run into the meta wall, right? And let them waste all their energy and expose to the rest of the table that they're horrible people and they read the book or they're using spoiler information to ruin it for everybody else. But let the ruin fall on them, right? And it's brilliant, because if you just turn this one key, right? And so you're like, well, why didn't Amanda say it that way and then write it differently? Because then there'd be no super easy turnkey solution to fix metagaming. It is the most brilliant thing that's ever been done in any D&D canon hardback ever, right? It fixes the metagamer problem, right? And it uses the energy of metagamers against themselves. And it is shockingly brilliant, right? And so just so you're aware, I'm the only person in the world who believes this. I believe Amanda Heyman did this on purpose. And I believe if anybody asked her, did you do this? She would say no. And the reason why is she doing this? Well, it's the same reason your mom told you to eat your Brussels sprouts, right? Now, I know Amanda Heyman's a woman, and I'm saying this, I don't want this to be gendered, and I want to say that, well, here's the thing. I don't know if any dads in the world tell their kids to eat Brussels sprouts, right? But why did Amanda do it this way? And if this is gendered, I apologize. I think this is okay. Let's go forward. If I owe an apology to Amanda Heyman at the end of this, let me know. But I think this is okay, all right? Like, so why did Amanda Heyman do this? I think it's the mom Brussels sprout issue, right? Your mom, when you were a kid, was like, eat your Brussels sprouts. And you're like, I don't want to eat those Brussels sprouts. They taste terrible, and I don't want to eat them, right? And the reality is, none of it has anything to do with the Brussels sprouts, right? You're like, hey, so why do I gotta eat this? And your mom's not going to say it. She's going to be like, eat your Brussels sprouts, right? But what she's really saying is, listen, one, I put food in front of you. You're not going to waste it, right? And I think Amanda Heyman is saying that with this D&D canon hardback. She's like, I wrote this, I served it up to you, and it's got a perfect turnkey solution in it, right? To make it so that every metagamer runs into the metagame wall and smashes their nose open and they bleed, right? Their virtual nose is smashed on the virtual metagaming wall. And it's so simple, and it's so beautiful, and it's so pure, and it's so easy, right? And I don't have to, like, you just make this one change and everything falls in line, and every metagamer looks like a fool and wastes their energy and gets shocked when the thing they thought they knew about the book is not correct. And it's so seamless and so perfect, and it's never been done before, right? But the Brussels sprouts issue is, one, you're not, she's like, I wrote this D&D canon hardback, you're going to run it, right? You're going to change this one thing, and I'm not going to tell you to change it. I'm not going to tell you to change it, right? We're just going to do it, right? Like, you know, and it fixes it. It's beautiful, right? But the other thing is, it's also, hey, the Brussels sprouts thing is, you're a kid, I'm an adult, right? You're my child, you're the child, I'm your parent. I tell you what to do. When you grow up and you don't want to eat your Brussels sprouts, you don't have to. But right now there's a hierarchy. And Amanda Heyman is saying it. I'm the designer, you're the dungeon master, right? I'm putting it down. You're going to turn this one key, but you got to figure it out for yourself, because you are adults. But the reality is, when it comes to Dungeons & Dragons, we're not the same. I'm Amanda Heyman. I wrote Strixhaven. I connected 1,000 worlds to Dungeons & Dragons. I've forgotten more about Dungeons & Dragons design than you will ever know, right? You turn the key, right? That's all you got to do. I wrote the whole book, right? Like, and so it's a parent-child relationship thing. It's like a hierarchy. And the reality is, I know you OSR, you indie people complain about her, but she's like, literally, Amanda Heyman has more knowledge of good narrative than every designer of, you could take every OSR designer and every indie designer team, and they don't know half of what she knows. She built the multiverse for realsies with Strixhaven. It was a concept before. She built the infrastructure. Like, you have no idea how important Strixhaven was. It's powerful, right? The Brussels sprouts thing is real, right? The other thing is, it's agency, right? It's a mom saying, you're going to eat your Brussels sprouts, right? And the reality is, the kid has to find a way to get it down, right? And she's not saying, she's not going to say you could she won't say put ketchup on it. She's going to leave that up to you. Maybe you eat it with a ton of ketchup, right? Maybe you take 2 hours to eat it. But that agency is on you. Same thing here. Turn this one key and the whole book is transformed. And every metagamer is fooled and they run headlong, smashing their virtual nose into the virtual metagaming wall. And it's beautiful. And it's better. It's handled better than any other Dungeons & Dragons D&D canon hardback has ever handled it. Amanda Heyman is the queen of Dungeons & Dragons because Lorraine Williams is dead. Every single word you just heard is my humble opinion. What's important is when I get to hear your humble opinion when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider subscribing and fetch millennium.